Hey, good morning. Let's go over today's trade plan. So in the overnight session, we were using the 03 half to 06 area as short-term support, and the idea was that as long as the S&P holds above 03 half to 06 and the Russell holds above 1250, the buy side would remain in control and we could still get upward price movement. So overnight, that area held and then we got a breakout above 2114, and at this point heading into the open the buy side is clearly in control. Now, bigger picture, we are still trading within this range, but short term heading into the open, the buyers are clearly more dominant and in control. So right off the open, the most aggressive support area is the pre-market support at 2114 to 16, and holding above that would mean that we're actually holding above the overnight breakout area and above yesterday's high. So that would be very bullish, and from there we could go up and fill the gap at 2175 and test the initial resistance zone at 22 half to 24 half. Now, if the Russell is breaking out above 60 to 61 at the same time, then ES can go even beyond 22 half to 24 half. The market does not have to stop there. But if Russell is struggling at 60 to 61, then 22 half to 24 half could at least provide a rotation. And on first test, that is a valid and active resistance area. So, the conservative approach is to expect a rotation off of 22 half to 24 half first time. It doesn't mean it has to necessarily cap the upside. That's something that we'll have to gauge in real time because, looking at these other markets, NASDAQ at this point is holding above a key high volume node, 4530, and by the time ES reaches 22 half to 24 half, NASDAQ would likely be near its current high on the year, which is around 51 to 55 half. And if NQ is breaking out to a new high, then again, ES does not have to stop at 22 half to 24 half, and it can go beyond and hit the naked VPOC at 27 and even test the upper edge of the prior range at 30 quarter to 32 quarter, and then we have the all-time high at 34. On the downside, below 14, we have initial support at 10 to 12. That's still an area that the buyers can defend on a pullback, and the buy side can be active there. Below that, the final short-term area of support is 05 to 07, with the previous VPOC at 0775. So in the event of a complete breakout failure from the overnight session and very clear-cut weakness in the other markets, obviously ES can still come down and fill the gap and test 05 to 07, which would still be valid support. And if we break below 05 to 07, then that would be short-term bearish, and from there the market could go down to 98 half to 2100 half and possibly 94 to 96 quarter, which at this point is going to serve as the larger time frame bull bear zone. So that's essentially the bottom of the current balance, 94 to 96 quarter. Right now that zone's not in play, but we are trading in a volatile balance area, and we've seen a lot of moves reverse. We've seen a lot of wide range moves in the recent past. So it is something that we should be okay with and prepared for in the event that we do see some clear-cut weakness off the open. But by default, we are going to give more edge to the buy side, and unless we're seeing some clear signs of weakness, like the NYC tick holding below zero or the advanced decline line completely, just reversing, tanking down, or just opening much weaker than expected, then we'll have to be a bit more cautious. But until then, it still makes sense to be active on the long side. Right now, the market is setting up to test 22 half to 24 half, and as long as the strength in the other markets remains active, then that is going to be the primary scenario that we focus on. So keep an eye on the Russell. The 1250 level is very key. That was the key level pointed out in yesterday's recap video, and it was key support in the overnight session. So as long as TF is holding above 1250, we know that there is still some strength in this market, and it's not necessarily a bearish market, and overall, the buyers would still be in control. So heading into the open, the focus is going to be more on long setups, cautious on short setups. 22 half to 24 half can provide a rotation on first test, but if the other markets are in breakout mode and just clearly heading higher, then that's not necessarily an area to short, simply because there may not be enough reward to risk at that zone. Not because the zone can't hold first time. So it can provide a rotation, but if the other markets are quite strong and the domestic line is clearly heading higher and momentum is to the upside, then it may just be a minor rotation before we take that zone out and head up to 27 and potentially 30 quarter to 32 quarter. So those are the main ideas heading into the open. Let's see if the buy side can maintain control this morning, and we'll take it from there.